Every once in a while, a story pops up online that just feels a little too real. Today, we're going to dive into one of those. It's a modern ghost story that uses all the classic horror tricks to create something genuinely scary. So let's break down the legend of Agathas' ghost.
Seriously, think about it. Is it a strange whisper? A creak on the stairs? This story starts with a sound, a very specific sound that takes a quiet night and turns it into the start of a total nightmare.
And right there, that's the line that just grabs you, right? Because it's framed as someone's real experience. It feels so much more personal, more urgent. It's not just some tale. It's being told like a memory.
So, how does a story like this build that creepy atmosphere? Well, it all starts with setting the scene. And for this one, it's all about creating that feeling of being completely and utterly alone.
And check out how fast this classic horror setup comes together. You've got a student just trying to cram for finals in the library. But by 10 o'clock, everything's changed. The silence isn't calm anymore. It's heavy. He's the only one there. And then, at 10:15, that's when he hears it.
And get this, it's not just any sound. It's so specific, so human, and just so wrong. It's the sound of a limp, which immediately makes you think someone's hurt, or maybe they're not moving quite right. That one little detail flips a switch. The library goes from quiet to threatening in a heartbeat. And yeah, our guy does what anyone would do. He panics, snacks his stuff, and bolts.
Okay, so now we're getting into the next phase. The story ramps up from just a creepy sound to a full-on, face-to-face encounter. And the crazy part? He's running away, but he's actually running straight into the nightmare.
Picture this. He's tearing down this long, empty corridor, trying to get to the exit, and he sees her. There's a figure just standing at the far end, literally blocking his only way out. The dread just hits you like a ton of bricks.
And of course, he yells out that classic line, you know the one from every horror movie ever. It's that question that's way more about fear than it is about actually wanting to know who's there. I mean, a part of him has to know, but you just know he's praying he doesn't get an answer.
But here's the thing. She doesn't say a word. She doesn't even move. Poof. She just vanishes. This is a huge turning point, right? It proves this isn't normal. But it also gives him this tiny sliver of false hope, like, okay, maybe I'm just exhausted, maybe I imagined it.
So he finally makes it outside, expecting to see cars, people, anything. But the horror just follows him out the door. The street, which should be busy, is completely, eerily empty. It just cranks up that feeling of isolation to 11. There's literally nobody around. The normal, safe world is gone.
He's totally freaked out now, just walking, staring at his feet, trying to get home. And then he sees it, a shadow stretching out on the ground next to his. But here's the thing, there's no one there to cast it. She's back. And this time, it feels even creepier, like there's no escape. So he forces himself to look up. And yep, there she is, right in front of him, walking with that same weird, limping walk. The thing is, he's moving faster than she is, so he's gonna catch up to her whether he likes it or not. That slow, inevitable march towards her is just pure tension. He has no choice but to see her up close.
And that brings us to the peak of the horror. The suspenseful buildup, it's over. Now it's time for that direct, terrifying confrontation he was running from.
Okay, so he's finally right there, and he can see all the details. And it's classic horror stuff, right? Take something human and just make it wrong. Her clothes are ragged, her hair's a disaster, and her hands and feet, the story says they looked twisted, like she's broken. His brain is just screaming, danger. He freezes, and that's when she turns around.
And of all the things this terrifying figure could possibly say, she asks this really simple, almost sad question. And that clash between how she looks and what she says is what makes it so unbelievably creepy. His brain just short circuits.
I mean, for real, what would you do in that situation? You're frozen on a totally deserted street looking at this person. Is there even a right answer here?
He doesn't even think, it's just pure instinct. Survival mode kicks in. He just points anywhere just to make her leave. And it works. She starts limping off in that direction and vanishes into the darkness. He thinks it's over. He turns and runs.
But wait, we're not done yet. Because this is the part of the story that gives us the why. This is where a scary encounter becomes a full-blown legend. We're about to get the explanation that changes everything.
So, as he's running away, literally for his life,
He hears one final sound from far away, a scream. But it's not a scream of terror. It sounds like a scream of discovery. It makes zero sense to him. He just collapses from pure fear, and the next thing he remembers is a neighbor finding him.
And this, right here, is where all the pieces finally snap together. The neighbor tells him about the local legend. That woman? She has a name, Agatha, and apparently she's a pretty well-known ghost around there, forever linked to that school.
And her backstory is just heartbreaking. Turns out, back in 1998, her little girl, who was only 10, died in an accident right at that school. So Agatha's spirit, just trapped by grief, wanders around looking for her. That question she asked, it wasn't just some random scary thing to say. It's her entire reason for being.
And that leads us to the final, absolutely chilling question of this whole story. Remember how he just pointed randomly to make her go away? Well, what if it wasn't random? What if that scream he heard, "She is here," wasn't a scream of frustration, but of victory? Did he accidentally lead this ghost right to what she was looking for? Or maybe to a replacement for her lost daughter? The story just ends there, leaving you to wonder,